I didn't love him when I married him. I didn't even like him that much, honestly. I know how that sounds. Trust me, but just hear me out, okay? This isn't one of those scammy arranged marriage stories. I didn't trick him. He knew. We both knew what it was. A deal. Nothing more. At least, that's how it started. I was 24, barely out of school, overstaying my student visa in New York. Colombian, no family here. My cousin had moved back, my work permit expired. I was living in a one-bedroom with 3 other girls in Queens, working under the table at this terrible cafe where the manager kept hitting on me. Every week I thought, this is it. ICE is gonna knock on the door. I'll be on a plane tomorrow. And then I met Jason. He wasn't impressive, not at first. Just this kind of awkward, quiet white guy who came in every Thursday and ordered the same sad tuna melt and Coke. He always tipped though. Always. Even when I got the order wrong, which, let's be real, happened a lot. One day I joked like, you keep eating this and I'll have to marry you. And he laughed. And then he said, no joke, well, if you ever need a green card. I thought he was messing around. I laughed it off. But 2 weeks later, he left his number on the receipt. I sat on it for 3 months. I swear, 3 whole months. But rent was overdue, I had a stomach ulcer from stress, and one of the girls I lived with got picked up at a bus stop. Just gone. No goodbye. So yeah, I texted him. We met at a park. I was shaking the whole time. He was calm, almost too calm, like he'd thought about it already. I asked him, why would you do this? He shrugged. I don't know. I've got no family, no one to tell me not to, and I like you. I said, you don't even know me. And he said, so let's get to know each other before we do anything crazy. And for some reason, that made me trust him. We met up 3 more times before we even talked about the logistics. He worked in IT, made decent money, lived alone in this little studio in Brooklyn, parents both gone, one brother he didn't talk to. He wasn't creepy, he wasn't pushy, just lonely, you know? So I asked, what do you want in return? And he just said, company. The wedding was weird. We did it at City Hall, no dress, no rings, just paperwork in silence. I remember signing my name and thinking, am I seriously doing this right now? And then we were married. I moved into his apartment the next week. We slept in separate beds. He gave me his room, took the couch. We had this awkward schedule. He'd work, I'd clean and cook, and we'd eat together like 2 robots pretending to be people. At night, I'd hear him snore through the wall and wonder, what the hell is my life? But slowly, things started to change. He started leaving me notes. Breakfast in the fridge, your laundry's done, you looked nice today. I started staying up to watch TV with him. He had this dumb habit of commenting during movies, like out loud. I hated it, but I started waiting for it. One night, we stayed up past midnight watching When Harry Met Sally. I cried. Not because of the movie, but because I realized I didn't want to leave anymore. And that scared the hell out of me. Here's the part where it gets complicated. I got my green card interview notice. We had to rehearse the answers. What side of the bed he sleeps on, what brand of toothpaste we use, how we met. We spent 2 weeks memorizing each other's stories like actors before opening night. And then, the night before the interview, I kissed him. He didn't pull away. He kissed me back. And then he whispered, "Are you sure?" I wasn't, but I said yes anyway. That was the first night we shared a bed. I didn't sleep. I just stared at the ceiling, wondering if this counted as cheating. on the fake life I promised or the real one I accidentally walked into. We passed the interview, by the way. The officer believed us. Of course he did. I mean, by then I believed us. Jason took me out to dinner after, somewhere nice, like really nice. Candlelight and all. He held my hand and said, "So, now what?" And I said, "I don't know." But I knew. I'd fallen for him, not just because he helped me, not just because he was kind, but because he saw me. Before I was anything, before I could offer him love or sex or a future, he gave me safety without strings, and I gave him my heart, eventually. We lived like newlyweds for the next year. I met his brother, he met my cousins on FaceTime, we traveled, we fought, we made up, we even talked about kids. And then one day, I came home early and found him on the phone. He didn't hear me walk in. He was pacing, whispering. He sounded upset. And then I heard him say, I don't know if she ever really loved me or if it was all a part of the act. I froze. He hung up, turned around, saw me. I said, "Is that how you really feel?" He didn't answer right away, just sat down. Then he said, "I don't know what's real anymore." And honestly, neither did I. We took a break. I moved out for a while, and during that time, I thought about telling immigration the truth, just tearing it all down, starting over. But I didn't. Instead, I wrote him a letter, 7 pages, handwritten. I told him everything, how scared I was, how grateful, how I never meant to fall in love, but I did, and how, yeah, maybe it started with a deal, but it turned into something I never expected. He never wrote back, but he showed up at my door 2 weeks later, didn't say anything, just kissed me, and I knew he believed me. It's been 4 years now. We're still together, still married, still figuring it out. Some days are easy, some are not. Sometimes I wonder if he still questions me, if there's a part of him that will never quite believe I love him for real. And honestly, I can't blame him. If you've made it this far, I really want to know, what would you have done? Would you trust someone who married you for a green card? Would you fall in love with them? I think about that first line I said. I didn't love him when I married him. But now, when people ask how we met, I just smile and say, it's a long story.